and I was going to get to a 5 minutes over. Sorry. Welcome now to the next part is Peter Novak from Suntech. Peter, why don't you head on in?
Yep, thanks, Tim. Thanks to One Stop Warehouse as well for the introduction and great presentation, Tim. I found it pretty valuable.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Just got a quick 10-minute presentation here, guys, so just bear with me. We've seen a pretty turbulent year, or at least start to the year, and I think globally we're seeing havocs to demand. And, you know, obviously Australia's start to the year, we had bushfire season and sort of put those fires out and headed straight into COVID-19. So it's been a funny, odd year for us, but we're battling through it and evolving to the changes. So, you know, what we're seeing and what I'm hearing in the marketplace, and I think John mentioned this earlier before, that, you know, we've had to adapt to our new world. We're spending more time with the family, we're working from home, we're schooling from home, and, you know, effectively it's leading to larger energy bills. Well, effectively it is for myself. So it is a good time to go solar. And I think, you know, conveying that message to the consumers is important. So, you know, I think we'll start seeing a round of bills hitting people quite soon, whether you buy monthly or tri-monthly, and you know, it's a real good time to sort of enforce and promote the solar message out there. So I think the job losses have stabilised. I think people confidence levels are returning. So, you know, yes, we're still in some form of restriction and may be for a long time. I think the message and the positive message of what we're doing needs to get out there, and I think John said it more eloquently than me. Yes, there are still grants out there, so I think that's important. The government did announce a PV stimulus package, which John covered more briefly. So it is still a great time to go solar. The way we do business has changed. You know, gone are the face-to-face selling, and the cold calling has changed. So, you know, using platforms to engage with your customers is important. So I think, you know, the more creative you can be, you still can give a personalised experience to selling solar. So I think those companies and installers out there that are using a more personable approach, I find are the ones that do it better. So again, with installations, we've had to change the way we do those. I think the more consideration you can put into your installation with additional PPE, hand sanitizer, exhibiting social distancing, and having some sort of policy around that, where you can assure the customer that you are exhibiting this, just increases confidence. So I've heard and read a few stories where more business has been generated as a result of a real strict policy on the way one installed. So it's just creating a positive experience to a consumer in a time that, you know, generally a lot of consumers are concerned, especially the elderly customers, as John mentioned previously. Look, just a quick update on what's happening in the Chinese market. So for pretty much the first quarter from Chinese New Year, we had reduced capacity and production as China itself was fighting the coronavirus, and what that meant was, you know, reduced capacity. But for the best part, China is at full capacity, so we are seeing supply chains being quite healthy. But on the back of that, China itself has announced some stimulus packages in the supply of solar into their industry. And as you can see by this graph, there's 15.7 gigawatts to be installed by mid-year. So we are seeing downward demand globally in Europe, America and obviously Australia. But I think the industry in China is hoping that that may be offset with what's happening in China, and then obviously Southeast Asia, Vietnam, demand is going through the roof. So I don't think there's going to be a shortage of supply, but I'm also not expecting there to be a great amount of oversupply. There might be a little, but there are good stimulus packages in place in China. Obviously, the turbulent dollar over the last couple of months, it's good that it's made a bit of a recovery, and it did make it quickly, but it's still not at the levels pre-COVID-19. So we're hoping there's some sort of stabilisation, because obviously the fluctuation does hurt ability to buy and buy with confidence, so which could exacerbate supply issues as well. Okay, a little bit of a brief history of who we are and who Suntech is, if you're not aware. Suntech has been in the industry for 20 years. We were one of the first Chinese PV manufacturers out there. Our origins do start in Australia. We were founded by two professors from the University of New South Wales, and obviously went to China to be encouraged to manufacture panels ex-China after exacerbating all our resources to manufacture panels in Australia. So we have been supplying and manufacturing panels for 20 years, and we have data on panels installed over those 20 years. We've got 21 gigawatts accumulated, 500 patents, and over 1,500 partners across the world. It's a bit of a milestones in regards to founded in 2001, 2005, we were listed on the New York Stock Exchange. 2007, most importantly, we opened the Australian office, and we've had a continued presence since. 2009, 2011, we became the largest manufacturer globally. I think our rated capacity back then was 2.4 gigawatts, so the industry has changed significantly. Now we're approximately around 4.5 gigawatts of manufacturing capabilities. In 2014, we were acquired by Shunfeng Clean Energy. They bought a number of renewable companies within the industry, from LED manufacturing, electric vehicle manufacturing, to some large European EPCs, Medio Control, Suntech, and a few other cell and ingot manufacturers. So we're quite a diverse company. Suntech is just part of the bigger picture there. 2017 and 18, we saw a very strong recovery and good sales, culminating into 300 megawatts into the Australian market. Last year, we achieved 21 gigawatts, and 2020, the story continues. Just a little snapshot of annual revenue over the last 5 years. It seems we're coming strongly and growing. Our debt to asset liability ratio, quite manageable in our opinion, where it's quite normal within the industry to be fluctuating at levels well above 50 to 60. Just a brief summary on bankability and financial strength of the Suntech Group, and recently awarded EUPD Top Brand for the Australian market 2019, which we are hoping to also